Hey guys, today we're talking about female narcissism because one of the biggest misconceptions that we so often hear is the fact that men are the narcissists and women have to put up with them. But the truth couldn't be any further from that. That's so unbalanced. Women are just as likely to be narcissists. Women do not have a different gene than men that makes men narcissists. Like it just doesn't work that way. It's all down to what happens to you and you're a child. It's all down to your upbringing, and women probably go through more trauma than men. I mean, trauma is trauma. It happens to everyone. It does not discriminate. Okay, so women are just as likely to be narcissists, which means that there's a man in a relationship with a female, with a woman, means you are just as likely to become a victim of a narcissist. But culture praises the man, praises men for being like this, which is why women hide. Men are more likely to be CEOs, to be leaders, and to be seen as being, it's okay to be tough in the world, whereas women get called a bully, women get called bitchy if they're like that. So women don't let out in a grandiose way their narcissistic traits. Whereas a man, it's okay. It's okay for a man to be narcissistic. It's seen in a lot of social circles, and a lot of culture. It's seen as okay. It's seen as the norm. If a woman does it, it's wrong. Women are meant to be a certain way according to culture. Now, on top of this, you've got the fact that as a man, you don't want to feel demasculated by going to your friends and having that chat and saying, I'm being bullied by my wife. I can't handle my girlfriend. Okay, that sounds very demoralizing. It sounds very weak because of the culture where men are not meant to be vulnerable. Men are meant to be strong, meant to be the providers. That is the problem. Okay, right there, straight away, there's two massive reasons why we have this misconception about what narcissism looks like. It's always very much on the man. So let's have a look at what it takes for a woman to be narcissistic and how we can spot one. So the first thing is we've got to remember is that women, they're not going to be the grandiose all the time. Of course, you're going to find that the women are going to be showing off. They're going to be on Instagram. They're going to be putting their pictures up there. They're going to be in the gym. They're going to be working out. They're going to be getting plastic surgery. They're going to be doing all that thing that someone who's narcissistic, who doesn't believe in themselves internally, who has kind of a hollow core, is going to cover themselves with jewelry, is going to cover themselves with looking nice. But part of that is because we're in a world that's male dominated, and male dominated world expects women to look a certain way. Women haven't got a lot of pressure to live up for. So this doesn't necessarily mean that the woman is narcissist, but it will tap into that insecurity in the female, and the female will use that. But what the female will gravitate to even more is the fact that they need to be more undercover. So you find that the female narcissist is most likely to be more on the covert side a lot of the time, especially on public. In public, they're the covert narcissist. They're showing the good side of themselves. Or they're the communal narcissist. They're working in the nursing home. They're doing a job in care work. They're working in a hospital. Okay, they're doing what on the outside seems like a very caring role, but the truth is, when you're their partner, when you're living with them at home, you see a very different side of them, and they will attack you in a different way. One of the things narcissistic females use is they use criticism. They're constantly belittling, putting you down, bringing you down a peg. This is a bit like nagging, and it seems like it's okay. I'm just nagging him. I'm just making sure he does what he's meant to do. He's meant to do these jobs. But by doing this, by little, just criticizing, it starts to break down that sense of self, that sense of your worth, of who you are as a man. So they will do that. They will criticize you behind closed doors, and then when they were in public, they might criticize you a little bit. And they know that that's not necessarily the right thing to do, because people will pick up and go, hey, how can you say that to them? So they'll maybe make it into a joke. They'll make these little jokes, and then if you say anything, then they'll say, well, you're doing too sensitive. He knows it's a joke. It's just a bit of banter. It's just a game we play. He can take it. He's a man. Of course he can take it. But they know what it hurts. They know that this sort of stuff hurts when they demasculate you, when they tell you that you should be doing more for them. They use the fear of guilt, feeling guilty against them. So you're feeling like, I should have done more for this person. They'll say, look, obligation-wise, they'll say, because you're a man, you should do this. Because you're a man, you shouldn't behave like that. You shouldn't have feelings. So again, they're using guilt, they're using obligation, they're using these different tactics to get you to start to feel like you're not good enough, like you should work harder to please them. And that's what a lot of their work becomes towards, is how can I get this person to fall into line? The criticism helps to break down your spirit, break down who you are. There's little jokes, there's, you're oversensitive, kind of using that against you starts to make you lose this identity of who you are and start to build this new identity. So as for a man, for instance, in a relationship with a woman, the man is feeling like they're walking on eggshells. If I say this, it's going to be wrong. If I say that, it's going to be wrong. If I forget her birthday, if I buy her the wrong present, if I buy her the wrong cake, if I put the wrong music on, I'm going to be wrong. Okay, if I don't do it, I'm going to be wrong. What should I do? So you kind of wait, you kind of lose all hope. Do I just wait and find the time to, wait to see what she says first, see what sort of mood she's in, all this kind of thing? But whatever you do, she will then pick up on that and say, well, why are you so quiet? You used to be so much fun. You're so boring now. And again, this brings us to the fact that a lot of narcissistic women, they kind of crave chaos. They get a lot of supply from chaos. So they really want that drama. They want the excitement. They've often settled for someone who's a bit of a nice guy, like good for them. And they're upset about that. They don't want the nice guy because that's unfamiliar. Of course, it's the best thing for them. And they probably realize that if they're actually going to be able to get their supply, they probably need someone who's nice, who's empathetic, who cares about them. But at the same time, they're going to use that now against you. The fact that you're such a decent person, a decent human being, is something that they can find very easy to manipulate, to hurt, because you're going to be vulnerable. You're going to open up to them. You're going to let them know what it is that you don't like. Now, the other thing they use against you is the fact that as a man, you're so used to not telling anyone about it. So if they do abuse you, if they do hurt you behind closed doors, you're not going to go to the pub and tell your friends. You're going to just say to yourself, well, I should have done better. Let's just brush it off. Let's forget about it. It's not culturally normal for men to open up. But when men do start to open up, when men do start to become free with, hey, look, this is what I'm going through. This is the pain. This is the way I'm treated. Going to therapy, that is the way that we can then start to see what's really happening and take back our power. Because as a man, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to have feelings, but they've got to be with the right people. They've got to be with people who you can trust. And of course, you thought you could trust the narcissistic female. And at the same time, when they're doing this, they're really starting to look at ways to push your buttons, how far they can push you. They're testing the waters, they're testing your boundaries. And before you know it, that each time that they push the boundary as far until you say, hey, that's enough, then they'll start again. They'll see, push it, push it, push it. Then they'll get to another level, then they'll start again. Each time pushing your boundaries further until your boundaries are totally broken. You have no boundaries in place. You've really lost that sense of being a man, lost that sense of being yourself. And this is where they want to get you. Now they're getting supply. They're maybe now and again going to love you, bomb you. They're going to bring you a little bit back in. But now they've got you trauma bonded. They got you stuck thinking, I've got a little bit of dopamine. I remember who they used to be. Or now and again, they'll give you that little bit of affection that they've been hiding from you, that they've been taken away. Because they use affection as a weapon. They weaponize it because they're not someone who needs love or needs affection themselves. They need supply. They need to feel powerful. They need to feel in control. But they need to be in control of you, and they need you to need them. That's what they need the most. So the best way to start breaking free from this is to start talking to someone. Go to a therapist. Go to counseling. Start working through this. Start to become aware of what's really happening so you can rebuild that identity. Rebuild that identity of the person that you were, because you deserve a whole lot more. And guys, if you found this video useful, please follow, please like, please share, and please get in contact if you're looking for working one-on-one or you want to do a group therapy so we can work together to break those trauma bonds.